Because last week we weren't on because it was children with knees, and we had... but I obviously have not read a paper, so this just sounds all so absurd.
Oh, there's more.
Is there more?
Yeah, Trump's proposed to the Queen.
Marriage?
And she's accepted, and the wedding is next year. They're going to have it in Trump Tower. It's going to be fantastic.
Oh, I look forward to it.
Yeah, I'm best man.
Are you?
He hasn't actually appointed him. I mean,
but via Twitter. I mean, that's real, isn't it?
The president isn't actually allowed to appoint our ambassador yet.
No. Thankfully
not on Twitter. If he does it on Facebook, it's legally binding.
So it was a late-night tweet from Trump. Do you remember roughly what it said?
It said that many people think that Nigel Farage would make an excellent ambassador between the UK and the US, or
That's
something
many
along
in the
those...
sense of one.
I responded to Donald Trump and I said, name them.
This is exactly what he said. Many people would like to see Nigel Farage represent Great Britain as their ambassador to the United States. He would do a great job.
Donald Trump doesn't even follow Nigel Farage on Twitter, which is a massive digital slap in the face.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, he doesn't even follow him, so he doesn't think he's that great a job. He doesn't think he's got top pants online.
Do you know...
Can anyone remember... You remember Christopher Mayer, who was Tony Blair's ambassador to the US?
Yeah.
Do you remember what his instruction was?
Yeah. Get as drunk as possible and then avoid everybody.
He was pretty nearly that.
Was it?
He was told to get as far up George Bush's arse as you can.
Exactly. It was exactly... We want you to go...
Is he allowed to use crampons? Is he?
We want you to get up the arse of the White House and stay there. So that's the brief. Actually, maybe Nigel Farage is qualified.
Well, Blair did it himself. He didn't actually need an ambassador.
Now, who'd like to see a picture of Farage, quite possibly the happiest moment in his life? I think that's the door into Trump Tower.
It is fantastic. Have you seen the pictures of inside? It's sort of late Gaddafi, the decor. Perhaps early Saddam, but it's a riot of vulgar dictator chic. It is.
Meanwhile, how is Theresa May's special relationship with Trump coming along?
Very good.
Very good. He said to her, if you're ever over, do drop in.
Let me
Made
know.
that up. That was it.
If you're coming over, let me know. That's what you say to the couple you don't like on holiday, isn't it?
I've never watched an election a U.S. election unfold overnight from London, from watching the BBC overnight. And that's the way, if you want to watch America go down the dumper, watch it through the befuddled nocturnal fog of a man named Andrew Neil. Watching a man, he's just barely on top of everything. And he just sits there, and he had other people beside him. He looks like he's squeezed in like this. And then when they're not there, he still looks like he's squeezed in. Like his body's trying to eject itself. And he comes out, and he's trying to explain the Electoral College, and nobody quite gets it, because it's impossible to explain, and it just, somebody's got to get it 270. And now you're watching his scoreboard at a bowling alley, and then finally they give up, and they just bring out this guy who just dances on a map. He dances on a map, and he's trying to show all the states with his feet. He's going like, oh, there's Wisconsin, and there's Ohio, and oh, there's a red state turning blue. Oh, I mean, Christ. Trump is becoming president, and the guy's playing Twister. And then finally, you know, there's just at the top of Andrew Neil's head, spray-on thatch thing. And then comes back up at 6:30 and says, Trump's president, and great. Trump's president, I'm watching an acorn talk to me.
The longest TV review I've ever heard.
Now, David Cameron and President Obama exchanged gifts. This is what Obama gave Cameron.
A custom-made Shinola men's watch engraved with the presidential seal. A bison leather duffel bag monogrammed with the Prime Minister's initials. 3 cans of US Open tennis balls. And a pair of sports towels personalised with the UK-US friendship flags, whatever they are.
Sports towels?
It's an unsubtle message, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's get exercising, fatty.
Yeah.
This is what David Cameron gave him.
A volume of the complete works of Shakespeare. Oh, that's it.
think that the news channels were upset that the storm was as bad as it was predicted?
It's very odd listening to the news, because the news was, there's this terrific storm, whatever it is, about to hit America. What will it do to the election? And you thought, well, what will it do to the people?
And then the first thing they kept saying was, oh, Obama's got to look presidential. He's got to appear presidential. But what does that mean? Like, I mean, if you go, there's a storm coming, we're all going to die! That'd be unpresidential. Just not do that.
That and holding people's head under the water. Don't do that. It's funny, yes.
President Obama, all right, why has he been arriving everywhere with pizza?
Has
under
he?
his arm? Yeah, he has.
Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. I brought some food. Stay where you are. Stay where you are. Don't move forward.
Why does he think they need pizza?
He's practising for
loses
2
his
weeks'
job,
time.
It does give, does it not, the news channels the opportunity to run their annual competition to see which reporter can stand in the stupidest place in bad weather. This is always my favourite thing in bad weather. I think in third place, up to his knees, in water. Second place, man, bit breezy there. Right? But for me, the winner is this chap.
Look at the water actually just pouring over the seawall now as...
Always love that. Obviously, any American story like this has to come to Britain. The Daily Mail Online, OK, yesterday said, strong winds and heavy seas begin to build on this side of the Atlantic. And here comes the photo they ran.
A guy that claims you're going to be taking people from London to New York in half an hour, something like up into space. Yeah, so he's a rocket man. So, yeah, it's essentially you're going to be able to get from New York to London and back in half an hour, although there's no reason why you wouldn't want to do it necessarily. But it's one of those stories, it's in 5 years' time it's going to happen, in 5 years' time. It's always in 5 years' time.
Apart from this occasion, it's 7 years' time.
Oh, 7 years' time?
Within... This is Elon Musk. He's the billionaire inventor.
Elon Musk?
Elon Musk. That's what I'm wearing at the moment. And it's his new space rocket travel service, operational, he reckons, within 7 years.
Yes.
Do you know what the rocket is called?
Big effing rocket.
BFR, which stands literally for the big fucking rocket.
How big's the milk bottle it's going into?
Is it actually what he called it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the BFR.
So it's not the big friendly rocket.
You mustn't go on Instagram. Not ready, Ian.
What are Elon Musk's plans for this rocket?
He said he wants humans, he wants us to be a multi-planet species.
Yes.
So he wants to set up sort of stuff in Mars. He basically knows how to get us there, but he doesn't know how to sort of keep us alive.
How did he suggest Mars might be warmed up quickly?
Pull it nearer to the sun?
Explode a thermonuclear device at each pole.
He's a Bond villain. He's even got the name. It's ridiculous. We're falling for it. It'll be too late when we're colonising the moon. His evil plan will have come to fruition.
But even before the Mars thing, it's getting around the globe.
Yes.
He thinks we could pop to Australia for the day, which is good, because the only thing that stopped me going till now is the thought of not being back in time for Neighbours.
I don't think it bodes well for our planet for us to have a plan B. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're not going to save... I don't think we put enough effort into saving our planet if we know we've got a backup. A bit like trying to save a marriage whilst going on Tinder. I don't think we should have any sort of place else to go.
That not work, then?
And how bad would Earth have to be for us to want to live on Mars?
To go to Australia? But, I mean, the G-force alone would probably kill most people.
Yes. That's interesting. Well, that's because he's got other ideas. There's the Hyperloop. This is a network of tubes around the globe that can fire people from one place to another in seconds.
I mean, I'm into this guy.
Elon Musk, interesting man. He has a two-pizza rule. Do you know what the two-pizza rule of Elon Musk is?
No, but I'm even liking him more.
Yeah. He said if there's a meeting that can't be fed with 2 pizzas, there are too many people in it.
Oh, nothing worse than a tight billionaire.
Oh, America?
Yes, of course. They've just had these mid-term elections. There's Sarah Palin, Ian's favourite. And then there's Obama, the president, who is not doing very well at the moment. The American people, 1 in 4 think he's Muslim, 1 in 10 think he's a terrorist, 1 in 50 think he's a holiday they took in Mexico in 1968.
In the last US election, it was hockey moms. Who are the rabid right-wing Republican banshees these days? What are they called now?
Mama Grizzlies.
Mama
Grizzly and the Tea Party.
Sarah Palin said Mama Grizzlies are ordinary people with common sense who just kind of know when something is wrong.
That's good.
When she was nominated for vice president, the head of the Republican Party in Alaska was asked what her qualifications for high office were. And he paused, and she said, she's the right age, and she's an American citizen.
She gave a radio interview. The host said, how would you handle a situation like the one that just developed in North Korea? Palin, obviously we've got to stand with our North Korean allies. To which the host replied, South Korean. Yeah, said Palin.
How's Bill Clinton been helping out?
Oh, God, has he been campaigning for them? Is that why they've lost so badly? It's that awful moment when Neil Kinnock says, I support you as a candidate.
I think he'd be good for them, wouldn't he, though?
Do you? You liked him? You liked Bill Clinton?
I thought he seemed like a very nice man.
Did you meet him?
I have met him once, actually, yes.
Was he at one of your concerts?
No, he wasn't. He made me feel very special. He came...
Did you keep the dry cleaning receipt?
On the eve of the election, Bill Clinton made his own contribution to the campaign. According to The Times, Mr. Clinton went through 9 different states, including arousal, ecstasy, exhaustion and guilt.
And he's a racist. He's a friend of Piers Morgan's. There's...
No, come on, no.
Piers Morgan said he was.
No, Andy, no, Piers has got no friends, you know that.
Let's look at how his ban would work in practice. It's quite simple, actually. Trump explained what border guards would say when faced with travellers trying to enter the country. They would say, are you Muslim? And if the answer is yes, they wouldn't be allowed into the country. So it's a very workable way of doing it. So I think in answer to your question, who would be allowed into the country under his system, it's anyone.
He's getting the backwash now, even from places like Dubai, where he had lots of investments. They don't want his name attached to it. They're pulling out. They're not actually... Trump trinkets sold big in the Middle East. Trump toothpaste, Trump toothbrushes.
Really?
Yeah.
Trump toothbrushes?
But I'm making Trump toothbrushes.
All right, 'cause you wouldn't want anything to do with him in your mouth. And how did Britain first get involved in Trump's recent remarks?
He said that London was...
no-go areas.
London was a no-go area.
For certain police officers.
Yes, he said...
Yes, there's certain places in London police are scared for their lives. Sports Direct. Going there.
Yes, he bolstered...
Are you one of their regular customers?
Yeah. It's where I get my trainers.
Do they still do the ones with the buckles?
They do.
Trump's latest contribution to the health of Americans.
He mused aloud whether it would be a good idea for people to inject disinfectant into themselves or to perhaps even drink it to clean out their lungs. I think he should be the first to volunteer. He later claimed that he was being sarcastic. There was a marvellous bit when he said, no, I was being sarcastic, I was talking to the reporters, and in fact I was looking straight at you, he said to a reporter. I was looking straight at you when I said this, and the reporter said, I wasn't there.
I was just going to say, we ran a piece in Private Eye 3 weeks ago, which was meant to be a joke, saying that because bleach is very effective against the virus, perhaps you should put your head over a bowl of it and inhale it. And I just had no idea he was a subscriber.
Well, that just is a gratuitous advert for Private Eye. Why isn't Ian allowed to come on and gratuitously publicise Private Eye?
Well, as Paul says, he's got some very interesting ideas on how we might treat coronavirus that the experts might not have thought of.
Supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light. And I think you said that has him in check, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do, either through the skin or in some other way. Right, and then I see the disinfectant, where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or...
Oh, she just looks like every woman who's sat at the bus stop minding their own business and the weird, crazy guy just doesn't leave them alone. Like, her logic is just stare at the ground for long enough and maybe he'll go away.
I can think of a good way of getting light into his body. I'd shove an angle-poised lamp right up the Oval Office.
She's not completely blameless either, because she's given interviews in which she said that Donald Trump's business past, which involves various bankrupt casinos, has given him skills and insights that really help him understand the science in this case.
Here he is saying goodbye to the first person to try injecting themselves with disinfectant.
We'll do it.
If you can remember back that far, this is the return to work of Boris Johnson on Monday. There's speculation as to how Boris's new son might affect his thinking on government policy. Well, if my experience of dealing with new babies is anything to go by, he'll be wanting to reopen the pubs within about 2 days. Speaker of the House, Sir Lindsay Hoyle, welcomed the news and said for Carrie and Boris, 2020 is certainly a year they will never forget. Although hopefully with enough therapy, the rest of us might.
Paul and Nick, here's another for you.
Oh, yes, OK, this is a clip from George Méliès's Voyage to the Moon. That's a nuclear explosion. There was some story this week about, was it during the Cold War, the Americans were debating about whether they should blow up the moon with nuclear weapons. I didn't quite see what they thought the point with that would be.
It's because Hans Blix had told them that the clangers had weapons of mass destruction. Obviously, the little boy was the bomb they dropped on Hiroshima.
Yeah.
So they were looking at something a lot bigger. It was called a fat man. Would you like to see a picture of a fat man?
Yeah.
See? This is the actual bomb. You thought we were going to show you something like this. No.
It's Eric Pickles. He's a member of the cabinet. Have you ever heard of him?
Yes, I certainly have, but I didn't realise he was that large.
What was the reason why they wanted to do this?
It was I think it was sort of posturing, because the Russians had launched Sputnik, so they wanted to make a statement and surprise the Russians by blowing up the moon. Yeah, nothing happened.
Sanity prevailed.
Yeah, because there were doubts over what effect a moon blast could have on Earth, including tidal patterns. Talking of which, floods in this country have now got serious because a celebrity has been affected. Which celebrity?
What's the initials?
PD.
Is it P. Diddy?
Paul Daniels.
Paul Daniels.
Paul Daniels.
He lives by the River Thames.
Correct.
He lives on a little island.
Yeah.
Yes. Paul Daniels said this week that he was furious with the council and that his house was currently under about 2 foot of flooding.
He's been flooded every year for years and he keeps moaning about it. Get a sandbag, for God's sake.
Weird, is it, if you live next to the Thames and then complain about flooding?
In the Thames.
It's like moving in next door to Ryan Giggs and then complaining when he bangs your wife. Like... You surely knew when you moved into the area. This is America's plan in the 1950s to blow up the moon. The plan to fire a nuclear missile at the moon was codenamed Project A119, although its purpose was later downgraded to finding a way of connecting Hartford and Stevenage. That is the actual road. Meanwhile, on Earth, the UK was again hit by widespread flooding. One of the people affected was magician Paul Daniels. He was stranded in his house. The emergency services said despite frantic efforts, they were running out of excuses not to rescue him.
What's going to happen at Buckingham Palace at precisely 12:30 a.m?
Oh, they're turning the lights off.
They absolutely are.
And all the foreign crews are furious, because their audiences will have just woken up. So when all the American broadcasters want to stand outside Buckingham Palace and say, "Here I am live," it's going to be completely dark. Selfish of us. Why couldn't we time the wedding to be in the middle of the night here, so the Americans could watch? And I hope there are ad breaks, so that NBC can shove in an advert for, what is it, nachos they have?
What is it? According to the Telegraph, Kate has invited her very first boyfriend, Willem Marks.
I like Williams that are too posh to bother with the E bit.
It's very posh.
Willem. What's your name?
Is it Bill, Will, William, Willem? There's even a video wedding book for the public to sign. So let's have a look at some of the messages of goodwill and affection that have been left so far. Royal wedding will cost in one day half what the UK spends yearly on help for the unemployed.
Oh, lovely.
May their long and happy marriage be the last one of the monarchy of the UK. Vast numbers of people couldn't give the tiniest shit. Do I need to do this number 6 once?
Helen Mirren.
Yes, sorry.
Oh, that's
right.
nice. We'd all like to do Helen Mirren, but we're doing a bloody quiz show, mate. That's what we're doing here.
Helen Mirren played the Queen, of course.
Oh, right, yes, yeah.
And here she is talking about John Gielgud on BBC Breakfast News.
So that always inspired me. He always took kind of edgy choices.
Yes, and he swore a lot, as I remember. And there was
well, in that sort of wonderful voice you had.
Exactly. that was
you
the
little
comedy.
shit.
Oh, no, you can't
No.
say it.
Sorry.
Take that back. That never happened.
No, it was in the original
Not pre-recorded this time.
If you heard that, we're very sorry.
What landmark moment in Trump's presidency did the trip signify?
He was about to be impeached. So he thought if he went abroad, he could make more of a fool of himself than at home. I mean, it is extraordinary. He said about the Saudis that they threw people off buildings and had an appalling attitude to women during the campaign. Then he got there and said, this is a magnificent kingdom. I mean, he contradicts himself almost mid-sentence nowadays. He can't keep it up. Yeah. And he criticised Obama for bowing to the Saudis. Yeah, and then he himself curtsied. Look at it, he does this sort of weird thing and then puts on the award of the great flogger of the Temple of Doom or whatever it is.
That was an ITV quiz show that never got past the pilot.
It is quite extraordinary. And having failed to point out that, you know, if you're going to Saudi Arabia to make a speech about where this appalling version of Islam comes from that preaches terrorism and extremism, where is it? Oh, it's here. Not a mention of it.
They were told at the official dinner he needed to have ketchup on standby. Do you want to know a fascinating fact about tomato ketchup?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to say that one again.
Yeah.
Do you want to know a fascinating fact about tomato ketchup?
Oh, yes.
Henning's auditioning for the Churchill dog ad.
Oh, yes. Well, as soon with Brexit looming, I'm a lot more amenable to advertising.
For round 2, fingers on buzzers, teams. As for the first time tonight, we go over to Peter Snow and the swingometer of news.
David, thank you. What I can definitely say is that it's turning into a very bad night for Ian. Even at this early stage, you can see this dramatic swing to this rather fascinating curio.
So, yeah, there's a new book come out which indicates that Donald Trump cheats at golf like he does at everything else. He's got caddies that he's specifically trained to sort of lie for him. He's got balls hidden all around. He once claimed to win a golf tournament while he was playing at another golf tournament 87 miles away. He has no shame gene, so it doesn't matter to him. He doesn't think, oh, you know, how pathetic that I should be cheating at golf. He thinks that as long as he's won, that's all that matters.
If that's his only flaw.
Do you know who the sports journalist was?
Yes, somebody Riley.
Rick Riley.
Rick Riley.
Do you know what the book was called?
Everything you need to know about Trump you can learn from how he plays golf, something like that.
Commander-in-Chief.
Commander-in-Chief, that's it, yes. How golf explains Trump,
That's
yes.
right. And do you know what Riley said about Trump in particular?
Well, he's notorious for lying about his scores and...
Cheats like a mafia accountant.
Yes. Well, he does walk around like a mafia don, doesn't he, with the overcoat and stuff, you know.
What did Trump say to a golfer who was foolish enough to beat him at golf? He said, it's all right. I've got a supermodel girlfriend and my own Boeing 7. One of his golf courses in Florida has a plaque on the wall saying he was the 1999 championship winner. Why is that a problem?
Well, because he didn't play that championship. Is this the one where he was playing 87 miles by?
That's because the golf course wasn't open in 1999.
Oh, it wasn't open.
Who's been caught lying this week in a possible attempt to get closer to Trump?
The Attorney General? Is it somebody from this side of the Atlantic?
Give you a hint, it's a Chinese woman.
Oh, yes, the lady that went into that, whatever that resort is called that he owned, she went in there with all sorts of software and tried to log onto the internet or something and steal all sort of sensitive data.
That's correct.
Yeah.
According to the BBC, she told staff she was there to use the swimming pool, but the Secret Service agent called Samuel Ivanovich noticed that she was carrying 4 mobile phones, a laptop, an external hard drive, and a thumb drive with a computer virus on it, but no swimsuit. Other than the truth, what else has Trump been struggling to say this week?
Oh, he can't say the word origins.
Let's just have a look.
No collusion, no obstruction. I hope they now go and take a look at the oranges of the investigation, the beginnings of that investigation. You look at the origin of the investigation.
Comes out as oranges.
Talking about his suntan.
Yes, indeed, yes. And maybe the colour of the suit he'll be wearing in a couple of years' time.
A new book has confirmed that Donald Trump cheats at golf and doesn't like losing. According to the author of the new book about Donald Trump's golfing habits, the president doesn't just cheat, he fudges and foozles and fluffs, and once he's sorted his hair out, he plays golf. Following the completion of the Mueller report, the Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov mocked suggestions that Russia had colluded in the US elections. It's hard to find a black cat in a dark room, especially if it's not there. Although, as Donald Trump himself boasted, if anyone in a dark room can grab pussy, it's him.